Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Scott with Expedition XJ. We're going to do a little drive today. We're going to go down Eldorado Canyon. It's in Dayton, Nevada. Not a super difficult trail, although there are a couple sections where, you know, if you have a bigger vehicle, you know, you could take that line. But I say a somewhat stock vehicle could make it through, because mine's basically stock aside from just 31s, and I get through there pretty fine. I don't think I've ever really spoken about exactly what's done to our Jeeps. They have what's called a, and I use quotation marks here, a upcountry type lift. I sourced some springs. They're basically just kind of heavier duty factory type springs, so when you're not loaded, you have about a 1-inch over factory lift over a standard Cherokee. Now I've taken that just a little bit further with extended bump stops, longer shocks, or shocks are for like a 3-inch lift, and some extended bump stops. You know, I have longer brake lines and stuff like that. Steering box brace, you know, kind of the basics you would need to keep your Cherokee together when you're off-roading. You don't really need a whole lot. These things are pretty capable. Even on their small tires, they're still fairly capable. But there's not much to these. They're pretty basic. I've been spending so much time and money in my 12-volt system and my camp gear and stuff like that, that we kind of just been doing maintenance on these for the last 5 years or so. We do have a few upgrades scheduled for this year, but nothing major, just kind of some maintenance stuff, but we've upgraded instead of just using factory stuff. Next year we're hoping to do gears and lockers, and, you know, disc brakes on the rear and stuff like that. But they're pretty basic Jeeps. There's not much to them. I do have factory limited slip, and then like I said, the 31-inch tires, and that's basically it. But I'm gonna keep my video pretty well. I'd like to keep it under a half an hour if I can. I'm gonna cut in and out just because it seems around the 10-minute mark my video cuts out anyway, so I'm gonna try to do like 5-minute increments and put it all together. So I'm gonna listen to some music, and I'll get back to you guys when we get to the trailhead. Welcome back. Like I said, I'm gonna stop and restart this video a few times. Just turned off the main trail, and I'm heading down to one of the entrances to the canyon. There's another one on the other side of the canyon. Not a very tough trail, like I said, just kind of nuisance rocks, I guess you would say. So we're getting up to the turnoff. We've already turned off the main trail onto this shelf road. I believe the shelf road, you could actually follow the canyon all the way. I'm not really too sure. I haven't gone down it too far. Up here I have to make 3-point turn to go back the way I'm going right now, except on a lower level. Usually this side, both sides wash out pretty bad in winter if we have a bad winter. We haven't had a bad winter this year, so I'm hoping this side's still somewhat passable. So here's our turn. Just a basic 3-point turn. Just back up the hill a little bit. And down we go. Not very bad. Like I said, it can get washed out. I might hit my sliders on this rock here, but if you're a little taller than me, which most people are, you'll be fine. I didn't hit them, so you'll be fine. Just a little negotiating. Like here, you have to kind of go towards the edge a little bit. That can be scary for some people. Then you want to keep your tires up here a little bit. It's always scary to be leaning the way that the cliff is. And it hasn't really changed much since last year. So the stock vehicle, if you can drive and pay attention and you know your vehicle well, you'll be fine. But that's not even the fun stuff. The fun stuff's still ahead of us. So we'll take a little break and then come back when we find something fun. Surprised to see water down here. This might play a role in if we make it to the end or not. There's some pools at the end here, and they fill up with water. Will get some pinstriping if you come down here. So if you're worried about that, this probably isn't the trail for you. trail for you, because it is a lot of fun. Here. My maps show that I could go through the creek, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like anyone was going through it, so it looks like we're gonna go down the creek anyway. We're pretty early in the season for this trail, so we might not be able to finish. Might have to turn around. Big rocks, little tires. They're not even big rocks. There's a very little tires. I used to have a big Jeep. I had one on 39s when I was younger. That was a lot of fun, but back then I didn't have the money to properly drive around town with 39s. Looks like it was pretty deep this year. For a little bit of snow we did have. That's our exit. Just keep going down the creek. Still moseying along. Now, if you have a bigger vehicle, you could be down in the creek having fun. We got to take a bypass because we're just a little guy. I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll all find out together. But from now, well, for the rest of the trail, we'll be in the creek, out of the creek. Again, this is, like I said, you can kind of make it whatever you want depending on the vehicle you have. If you have a bigger vehicle, you could just keep right on going up the creek here. We have a smaller vehicle, so we will be taking the bypass. It's actually the main part of the trail. The bypass is really the option here. One of my favorite drives, or trails rather. It's just a lot of fun, and like I said, you can kind of make it whatever you want. You can go mild, you can go wild. I don't go super wild. When I was younger and I had bigger Jeeps, to get them home from the woods if they did break. It was a little easier. Now that I'm out here, kind of out of my norm a little bit, even though I've been out here for so long, and I've wheeled so much in Nevada, California, and Oregon now, I still learn new stuff all the time. Cut off right here and start it back up just to not lose any video. There we go. And like here, you know, you could go left, continue on up the creek. It's really cool having some options like that. Like I said, there'll be sections where we're stuck following whatever, you know, and we won't have an option to go around. It's just a nice fun trail, and if you're a novice, I feel like this is a pretty good trail to kind of cut your teeth on. You might have some sections that a novice would need some help with, which is perfectly acceptable. See, now there's two options to get out here. I'm just going to take the further option. But you could continue on down the creek if you got it like that. We don't got it like that, so. You know, easy peasy. Easy peasy. Very fun trail. Very fun trail. Another bit of creek we gotta drive and negotiate through here. And the trails out here, because everything is basically sand, they change quite a bit from year to year to year. And if you skip a year, you hit it again, and it's a brand new trail. So I haven't hit it at all in 2023, so this is basically a brand new trail for me. According to my maps, we're still on the correct route. See, here's a little salt bed. We have a mix of salt and sand throughout much of Nevada. In the center of Nevada, you'll see a lot of salt. Not as much as you will at the Great Salt Lake, but it's quite a bit. This is what I mean, even though we're not in the creek. I mean, it's not just a dirt road. Still pretty fun, especially when you're on small tires. I do have skid plates and sliders and stuff, so I can drag my car quite a bit. Just stock skids, but when you're not at super heights and you're at more of a stock height, they work a lot better. The front one protects a lot of my steering stuff, and the front center section cover. So when you lift your Jeep up and you try using stock skid plates, especially the front one, it's not going to work. Might protect a little bit of your steering stuff, but at that point you've probably already hit your axle and your drag link, so you've probably already done some damage. But now this is a very wide canyon, and it's actually it can be one creek or multiple little creeks, and it looks like it's multiple little creeks at the moment. It looks like there's actually some water off to our right, not a whole lot, but yeah, I can see some water down there. And then there'll be some water over to our left when we get back over there. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of water going down that side. So right now it's split off into the two sections here. And we're kind of in the middle on an island. But if you can see some of the vegetation, how it's bent over and stuff, this is usually full of water. See, here's a bigger section of it now where it's splitting off. See, I don't remember this section being this bad. Might touch my sliders a bit here. Maybe not. Now, apparently, I have been off over there in the creek section, but now there's a tree across it. And that's the great thing about these trails out here, is they change so drastically from year to year that it's a whole new trail. That section I just went through, that's never really that bad. Those big rocks got pushed down last year when we had the good winter. It's like we're crossing out of the creek for now. Looks like there's an easier section and a tougher section. Let's try the tougher section. Up and drive shaft. Doesn't feel like it. Yeah, just running on the skid for the gas tank. I got a hitch too, so a lot of crap gets stuck on that. The creek maybe once or twice more. Actually, maybe a few more times, but we'll be on a shelf for a little while, so this is basically a dirt road. You don't get to drive through water very much in Nevada. Another creek cross. Like I said, we'll cross over a few times. The running of the creek is pretty much done for a little bit. It does open up again up here, and bigger vehicles can go down into the creek again. I use Gaia maps, and I forget the other name of the other one. Off-road Trails Off-Road maybe. I think it's Trails Off-Road is the other software I use. That one tells you where trails are, you know, and since I do a lot of just going out and exploring, I use Gaia a lot more. You can see an exit of the trail's overgrown. I believe at that point there is when you can start, if you're a bigger truck, going up the creek again. We just kind of cross through, snake our way through. The only for this trail is if you're low to the ground, some armor of some sort, some skid plates, and a decent tire. Don't come down here with street tires. You'll probably just put a hole in them. You'll want something a little better. Another section that a little more hardcore. I gotta drive this to work, so I gotta be mindful of what I do. Super fun trail though. Like I said, I absolutely love this trail. So far, just kind of cruising along. Trying to dodge a rock that's directly under my car. I like to get on them instead of... There we go. Like I said, something stock, very little height would be needed. I'm hardly scraping, and if I am, it's only because the skid plates probably, if anything, give me even less clearance. I don't have any like belly up skid plate or anything like that. It's just a factory skid plate. weather coming in that'll make the semi-difficult trail nearly impassable. There's a couple sections up here that if it rains, it would be just too slick for me to continue. I'd have to turn around. Just the end of the trail particularly is a very off camber exit, and if it rains, you stand a good chance of just sliding on down. Also, I'd just like to throw it out there. If anybody is local or in the greater Reno Tahoe area and they ever want to get out on a trail or something, just shoot us a message. Either on YouTube, you could just comment on the post or a video, or you could send us a message on Instagram or Facebook. But we'll always want to show some people around. Oh, I don't want to hit my bumper there. Uh-oh. Hope that wasn't my bumper. Well, yeah, we'll gladly show you around, take you on a few trails. Do some camping, whatever. So we're pretty much out of the creek for a little while, up on one of the shelves. And when we cross over the creek, we just go from one shelf road to another shelf road. Sure would make things a little more interesting, and I don't really want to do interesting today. I was hoping for a nice relaxing drive. It's only Wednesday. I got a midweek day off, so one of the last nice days for a couple, because we're getting a little bit of a storm tonight, but I think it's coming in a little bit earlier. I'm even starting to get some clouds to show up on my Gaia. Also, lots of camp spots on this trail too. Lots of good camping out here. It's really beautiful on this trail. So if you're into camping, this is definitely a good trail. Like we might go down into the creek for a little bit more. We are coming up to those tubs that I was speaking about earlier that could potentially be full of water, and if they're full of water, it's too deep for me to get through. I'd be forced to turn around, which would be a bummer. But it is what it is. But hilariously enough, though, I'm looking at the creek and it's dry as a bone right now. I'm not understanding that. There hasn't been enough snow on either of these mountains to warrant any water being on there, which would tell me it's coming up from the higher, or it's coming from the higher mountain. So maybe we'll get through. That'd be cool. Found the water. Now I just remembered that I did try to come through here last year, and the tubs was what stopped me. That's how I know that if there's water, that the tubs could stop you. This was a whole lot deeper though, and I think we'll be all right. So I guess we'll find out. I don't think they're too far if I remember right. If you're curious on tires, I run a 3110 10.5 by 15 Falcon Wild Peak MT. It's the MT-01. I've been running these tires for, not these particular ones, but I've been running this brand for about 8 years now. It's my favorite tire. I don't really like anything else right now. My favorite tire is the BFG, the original 80s and 90s BFG mud terrain. Problem is they don't make them no more. So I always try to get a tire that it's kind of close to tread. Making on the sliders a little bit through here. Oh, there we go. For the longest time, I've been not wanting to do the cut and fold, the traditional cut and folds that are done on these. I like the stock appearance. It's just always looks good to me. But if you're gonna run low, you need sliders for sure, and at least a gas tank skid. You don't want to put a hole in your gas tank. I think in the future we're gonna do maybe like a 3-inch, but we'll get like a Rusty's. Whoa, that was a big drop off. I was not expecting that. We'll do like a Rusty's 3-inch. I got a pretty good kit that you can can get different variants of it. We'd probably get the good one with the good shocks and the good arms and stuff. But yeah, I mean, these things, they go. I've been driving them for a very long time. I've only off-roaded 2 different vehicles. This and a 77 F250. And that was back when I was like maybe 19 or 20. It's just something about Cherokee. I grew up in the back of CJs my entire childhood. Everybody had CJs. And oh boy, that was a little bigger than I thought it would be. But I was always bored with, not really bored. I didn't like them. I don't like CJs. I don't really like Wranglers, to be honest. I always liked the Cherokee, even the XJ Cherokees, but nobody in my family, they all had, like I said, CJs. So, but I'm not a big fan of the Wrangler in general. I do like the Gladiator. I think that's, if I ever bought a new Jeep, that would be the one I would buy. I just like these little things. They're so agile. They're like, you know, I used to say they're like go-karts, but now we have go-karts, but now the go-karts are bigger and longer than these things sometimes. And it's just crazy. But yeah, I love these things. They go anywhere, you know, and they're good, they're pretty good on-road. They're good for inclement weather and stuff like that. But here's where they shine. They've always been good off-road. You put a good set of tires on a Cherokee, and you could almost go anywhere you want. So we're coming back into the canyon. We were just on the shelf road for a while. So now we'll be stuck to the creek and weaving in and out of it just to the outskirts. It's a really fun section. Yeah, that's really about all I have to say about it. It's just really fun. We'll cross over here, and again, if you're a bigger truck, you can start going down the creek. We're a little vehicle, so we'll just cross over. Oh. Oh. Good thing for that skid plate. Negotiating here. There we go. Yeah, you used to be able to go this way even with a smaller vehicle. I don't know how deep that is. That looks too deep to me, but it looks like they've made a bypass. So we'll see what this bypass does. goddamn trailer hitch. Looks like that black cloud blew over us, so I don't think we're going to get any storm, which is nice. The wind is calming down too, which is also nice. I know they say Chicago is the windy city, but Nevada really has a lot of wind, and it's always at times when you don't need it. It's annoying. So it's just been a combination of this and then going across the creek. I'm not really sure which way to go here. I think it's down. I hope it's down, because we're going down. So we're at about 2 hours now on the trail. Not super long, you know, not super quick either. Creepy. Big hole on that side where the cliff is. That's always fun. Yes, you can hear my exhaust dangling around. We're about 3/4 of the way through this trail, maybe a little bit more. Very fun trail. You can have your choice of obstacles depending on your vehicle build. You know, there's camping if you want to do camping. You got many options with this trail. Get pinstripes on. You know, you might rip the bag of your awning or something. Things could happen. Inclimeter, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Inclimeter tells me, you know, what my pitch is, front and rear, left and right. I have flopped and rolled a stock Jeep numerous times. A stock Jeep will roll over at around 32 to 35 degrees, give or take. So I have my sensors set for, I believe, 32. So if I get close to 32, you'll hear a buzzer. haven't really gotten close to that though. I believe the only time we'll get close to that is just that last little obstacle. And it's not really an obstacle, but if you're a new driver or a novice off-roader, it might get the better of you just because it looks intimidating. It looks like you're driving on a wall, basically, but you're really not. And I don't know how many people ride skateboards or bikes, but an object in motion will stay in motion. Let's just say that. If you hit this obstacle with a little bit of speed, gravity will just keep you planted to the hill. And my wife gets very intimidated by off-camber situations. She's always afraid of taking a tumble. And, you know, rightfully so. Nobody wants to roll over. But it really is a situation where it looks worse than it actually is. Oh, that one came all the way in. Oh, we might pick up a wheel here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a wheel. That was fun. We do have extended shocks. I have a 3-inch lift shock with, you know, like I said, less than an inch of lift. So we have lots of down travel, and still to pick up a wheel there is kind of crazy. There's the Eldorado Canyon cave. It's kind of just a hole in the wall. It's not really even a cave. Still pretty cool though. Good spot to stop and you know, have a beer, get a picture, whatnot. What a fun trail. What a fun trail. You know, and it can be as mild and wild as you want. That's what's cool about it. You can come here with a Jeep on 31s, or you can come here with a Jeep on, you know, 40s. And you could have fun. And then there's offshoots for the bigger Jeeps too. There's a couple pretty popular northern Nevada trails up here. I don't know the names. Well, I know the names of them, but I just don't remember them off the top of my head here. Wow, this section's washed out quite a bit. Oh, that was definitely my wheel. I should have had more turning. So we'll go up that big rock, around that big rock, and then up this big rock. Oh, that worked out pretty good. Take a little pause here. That was a fun little section. That washed out majorly. Last year, all of this would have been up underwater. It was almost a river coming through here, as opposed to a tiny little creek. So this was underwater, well up over. It was over the shelf roads, which is quite impressive in spots. It was pretty deep. I think we had a record of 700 inches, somewhere around 700, maybe 650 inches, just right up at the peaks right above Carson City there. And then we had on the Nevada mountains to the left of me, we had probably about 400 to 500 inches, and that's a lot. And this creek was impassable. I believe I went to check on it in June, and in June it was still full of water. So if it's full of water, unless you got like a really good snorkel and a sealed engine, you're not gonna make it. I want to try to keep this video somewhat short. Although I enjoy a long video from time to time, I'm a big fan of the four-wheel drive 24/7 in Australia. I've been watching them since they started putting stuff on YouTube, and I think that's going on 8 or 9 years now. But I really, really love the four-wheel drive 24/7. They used to be called four-wheel drive action years ago, and they used to just be DVDs, but then they realized, they could make a ton of money on YouTube, so they started doing YouTube instead of DVDs. Not to mention, who even owns a DVD player anymore? I haven't owned a DVD player in years. So this is kind of cool. Yeah, but I've always liked them. They were always interesting. They're fun to watch. They put out lots of good content. So if you get a chance, check them out. Four-wheel drive 24/7. They're from Australia. One of my dream places to off-road. I'd love to be able to go to Australia one day. That'd be pretty cool. Probably take a little break here. I don't know if we have any major crossings or anything coming up here. I think we're getting close to the exit. I'll talk to you in a bit. And this isn't even the part I was worried about. Oh yeah, crap. Come on, don't slide. Oh yeah, nice, 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 nice. I might have to give her some tomatoes to get up here. Oh no, it's wet, but it's got plenty of traction, surprisingly. That was another surprise section because, like I said, it changes. All it has to do is rain out here for a couple of hours and it'll change the entire trail. It is crazy. Another system is blowing in. I hope it doesn't rain. We're about 2 hours and 40 minutes into the trail so far. We've gone about 8.7 miles. So almost 9 miles. I know it looks dry on camera, but this is actually very wet and very slick. And I wasn't even considering this area as a potential issue. Wow. Just stay in the ruts. There's a minute you get out of it. It's not a like a fall or anything. There's no cliff or nothing, but I don't want to just slide into that creek either. Wow, is it wet still? It's really not much of a hill, but in the wet, this could be a hill that makes me turn around. Whoa. There you go. Nice steady throttle input. That's all she needs. You don't want to be slinging mud everywhere because then you're just wiping off your traction. I always wondered how this section looked on camera because you go straight down. We're at about 17 degrees now. Ooh, and even that's a little wet. 20 degrees down. I think this is one of the last times that we are in the creek. I think the rest of the trip is Shelf Road in a little while here. Son of a bitch, that's twice I've hit my rim off a rock now. Gotta pay attention better. About 2 hours and 45 minutes in. Okay, so we're at the end of the trail at that part that I told you about. That's a little sketch. Now, I know, it looks washed out. Looks like there is not even a trail there. But there is. And I understand this is scary for some people. You have to give it gas. You don't want to touch the brakes till you're down at the V in that notch when you're about to go up. Real simple. Here we go. There we go. Now we're past the scary section, so you just want to be on the brakes a little bit. And there we go. We're going up. It's not that bad. If you go slow through there, there is a good chance you're going to roll over. But if you carry a little momentum with you, you don't have an issue. It's just a turn in the road, really. But that's it. That's basically the end of Eldorado Canyon. The exit for Eldorado Canyon is Sunrise Pass, which is it's either Gardnerville or Minden, Nevada. Might be Minden, Nevada. I'm not sure. And then Sunrise Pass will come out onto Johnson Lane, which there's a small little OHV area there. But very fun trail. Can be challenging. Again, I still say it's completely doable in a properly set up stock vehicle. You don't need a big lift kit or lockers or gears or pretty much any of that stuff. And you can get out on a somewhat moderate trail and enjoy off-roading. So we're pretty much at the end of the trail. Unfortunately, I did not think about snow. We start the trail at about 4,400 feet, and we're at 5,700 feet right now. And I'll still be climbing to the end of the trail here. And I think it's right around 6,200 feet where the connects on to Sunrise Pass, and I'm hoping there's no snow there. So we'll take a break right now and we'll find out if there's any snow. So So we're almost at the official exit, the turn on to Sunrise Pass. Sunrise Pass is pretty much just a dirt road. In the snow it can be impassable. In the wet it's hilarious because it makes a dirt road something that you need to put your vehicle in 4-low. It's insane the way the mud can get there sometimes. But when it's dry, you can do 2-wheel drive from basically 395, go over the mountain all the way to 95, which is it's a pretty good haul. You can do it in one day if you want. It's really nice to take the offshoots though and do some camping. But yeah, this is Eldorado Canyon Trail. It starts in Dayton, Nevada, and ends in, it's either Minden or Gardnerville, Nevada. I'm not really 100%, but super fun trail. Stock capable, depending. I wouldn't take a Cherokee on 235s through there, but maybe a 30-inch tire. You know, if you had a good 30-inch mud terrain that you could air down a little bit, because the problem is with a 235 75s, you can't really air it down too much. Also, you won't get the sidewall protection that you will in something that's a dedicated mud terrain. Falcon Wild Peak has a 3-ply sidewall. I have never had a sidewall failure in any of these tires. I've never had a flat off-road. And like I said, I've been running them for around 8 years or so, 7 or 8 years. I've never had any issues with them. They've been the best tire that I've run. That's probably why I've run them for so long. And I'll put a lot of miles on my vehicles. We travel all over the place. You know, an average weekend for us is 2,000 miles. So in 3 days to go 2,000 miles, that's a lot. But yeah, I like the Falcon Wild Peak MTs. It's been a wonderful tire. So that's pretty much it. There's really not much else to show. It's basically just a dirt road from the rest of here on. I'm not worried about snow. I was probably 25 minutes ago, but not so much now. If there's no snow here, then I'm good from here on down the mountain. So, well, I would really like to try to get 2 videos out a week. It's a little tough. You know, we have a lot of crap going on and then work and stuff. So we've been getting 1 a week out, which I find it's somewhat acceptable. But I'd like to get 2 out a week. So. This was the wet section that I was talking about earlier on in the video as well. Basically, from that little hairy exit situation there, all the way to Sunrise is usually a mud fest, and it can make you turn around, which really sucks because it's the end of the trail. You can see there's still some puddles here actually. But usually this is just mud. And it's tough to get through because it just turns into very slick mud. It's not like what you have on the East Coast, I can assure you that. East Coast mud is so much more manageable than this stuff. This is pretty dry. Luckily, if it was wet, I might have to turn around. Which sucks, because we're at the 3-hour, 10-minute mark, which takes a 3-hour drive into a 6-hour drive now. That's it for this video. We'll see you guys again soon.